Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Max with BuzzTox here, and I'm back with a Game of Thrones news video. In these videos, I go on Watches on the Wall, and I give you my thoughts and opinions on the latest news to break. I just want to issue a quick spoiler warning for people out there. I'm going to be touching on plot leaks in Game of Thrones Season 7, so if you don't want to know any details on Game of Thrones Season 7, leave right now. But without further ado, let's get right into the news. The Toronto Sun went to a Game of Thrones set visit. And with this set visit, they got to see new details on Game of Thrones Season 7 that we didn't know before. The first scene that they saw actually happens in Episode 2, and we see the entire Targaryen faction. And that includes Daenerys Targaryen, Tyrion Lannister, Missandei, Theon and Yara Greyjoy, Ellaria Sand, and Olenna Tyrell. And what's so significant about this is in the plot leaks, we have seen these characters in different situations. So it is great to hear that we are actually going to see the whole team together before the chaos begins. And what's going to happen in this scene is we are going to see all these characters plan out their attack and how they're going to defeat Cersei and get her off the Iron Throne. And they're going to be surrounding the famous map table room. And I guess in this scene they're going to come to a conclusion on what to do, because we know what happens to some of these characters later in the season. We know that Ellaria Sand, Theon, and Yara Greyjoy actually go to Dorne. And on their ship ride there, they get attacked by Euron Greyjoy. So a ship battle ends up happening at night, and Theon is thrown off the ship from a fellow Ironborn, and he is rescued. However, Yara Greyjoy and Ellaria Sand are held prisoner by Euron Greyjoy himself, and they are taken to King's Landing. We also see Daenerys and Tyrion go to war against the Lannisters, possibly in Highgarden, and this is where it's been reported that Olenna Tyrell returns to. But before Daenerys can make it, Jaime makes it to Olenna Tyrell first, and he gives her poison which allows her to kill herself. All of these news bits have been confirmed in reports from Watchers on the Wall. And that takes us to our second scene, and that takes place in the Winterfell Banquet Hall. This is the room where we see Jon become King in the North. And in the scene, we have Jon Snow, Sansa Stark, Brienne of Tarth, Davos Seaworth, Lyanna Mormont, and Tormund Giantsbane. And in this scene, they have another meeting. Instead of talking about how to take over the Iron Throne, they're trying to talk about how to defeat the White Walkers. And the Toronto Sun reports that Jon Snow discusses the imminent threat of the White Walkers. And he insists that they need to start mining obsidian now, because dragonglass is the only material known to kill White Walkers, except for Valyrian steel. And they have Jon quoted, saying, "Dragonglass kills White Walkers, and it's now more valuable than gold." And the last scene doesn't really talk about a scene, it's more of a prop that is being sculpted for a scene, which is going to raise huge speculation. And what the prop was a massive dragon skull. And what was interesting is that this skull was one out of 40 differently sized dragon skulls, which means that we are going to have a dragon graveyard. And what was even more interesting is that all of these skulls had to be crafted and sculpted physically, not digitally. And I guess that hints at the importance of the skulls. They need to be very detailed, but they're also possibly being interacted with on the set. That's why they cannot be digitally recreated. They have to be sculpted physically. And that raises a bunch of questions on what is it used for. Are we going to see them in the dragon pits in King's Landing? Because we know that all the characters are getting together to negotiate terms. Or could it possibly be at Dragonstone, maybe underneath the castle, where the dragons hide out in the tombs under Dragonstone? I don't know. But that takes us to our last story, and that is that a behind-the-scenes featurette has been dropped for costume development in Game of Thrones Season 7. And what's so great about this featurette is it actually drops little hints that tease what's going to happen in the upcoming season. We see Samwell Tarly trying to grab a book with a stick. The only significance I can pull from this scene is that they are filming it because it is significant. And with this season with 7 episodes long, you can't waste any screen time. So there's a reason why Sam is trying to reach for a book, and there's a reason why that is significant. Maybe he was told to pick up a book on White Walkers or the histories and lore of the Targaryen conquest to maybe get some hints on how to defeat the White Walkers. I'm not sure, but what we can take from it is that this book has not been used in a while since it is so high on the shelves. But I'm really reaching here. And the second photo is Daenerys walking up the stairs with her team, Grey Worm and Missandei. And we see that the weather does look kind of nice, but I think they're going to touch that up in post. And what I believe this scene is her returning to Dragonstone for the first time. I think we're going to see her walk up the stairs, and that's what this scene encompasses. We also get a shot of Arya, and it looks totally different than it does in the final cut. I just want to let you know, this scene is pulled directly from the trailer. As you can see, they enhance the blues, and it gives it that gritty tone. We also see Tyrion walking on the beach, and this could be in two places. It could be at Dragonstone, and we've seen him greet Jon Snow and Davos on the shores of Dragonstone, but it could also be in King's Landing. We've seen Davos and Tyrion on the shores of King's Landing on a beach, and they return with a person who has a warhammer who's presumed to be Gendry. This picture could also be taken from this scene. There's also the Hound and fake Snow, which is great. We know that he is going to be going north because the Brotherhood Without Banners believes that they have a really big purpose in the war to come. But then there's an image of Sansa, and she is in the Crypts of Winterfell. And the last time we saw her in the Crypts of Winterfell was with Peter Baelish. And we got to hear Peter Baelish tell the story of the tourney of Harrenhal, and how Rhaegar Targaryen won the competition and laid a crown of winter roses in Lyanna Stark's lap. And we go on to hear that Sansa believes that Rhaegar kidnapped her and raped her. And we get a little look from Littlefinger, like he knows something that he shouldn't. So it'll be interesting to see why she is down there, because in the trailer we've seen Jon choke out Peter Baelish, who has also been in the crypts too. So it'll be really interesting to find out what the significance is with the Crypts of Winterfell. It could be Lyanna Stark related, or it could be Ned Stark related, or Rickon Stark related. But what we do know is that we see Sansa, Peter Baelish, and Jon Snow in there in all different occasions. But that takes us to our last picture, and that is Jon Snow, and he's standing what appears to be grasslands. And to me, I know that this is not Winterfell because they would have fake snow, but it does look a lot like Dragonstone. We've seen Tyrion walking on this mountaintop staring at the dragons, and I believe Jon is in the same place. To me, this doesn't look like Jon is getting to Dragonstone for the first time. To me, this image looks like he's been there for a while, and he's maybe going on that mountain to check out the dragons. Because we know that Jon, on his way up to Dragonstone, will interact with the dragon. So by this point, I guess it is possible that he could have developed a relationship with one of the dragons. But it would make the most sense if it was Rhaegal, the green dragon, who is named after Jon Snow's father. But that is it for the news today. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of all of these images. Please leave a like, comment, and share this video to everyone you know. But anyways, until then, I'll see you guys later.